It's time for another episode of Behind the Book. Gil Alexander from the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Jay Rude, Vice President of Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International. Jay, one of our favorite places, if not our most. We're at the Beau Rivage.
Back at the Beau.
In Biloxi.
Yes.
Beau Rivage, I'll make this joke every time we're here. Roughly, I think the loose translation in French, totally awesome, I think is what it means. Beautiful shore if you're scoring at home.
Yes.
24 television screens here at the Sportsbook and Bar. It opened August 1st, along with Gold Strike, the first properties in Mississippi to have sports betting.
Right.
We could not be happier being here. What a weekend. LSU and the Saints.
LSU and the Saints with Bama coming to town. So it's going to be great. Saturdays here have been outstanding. I mean, we've had our first full reporting month of football, and it couldn't have been better. I mean, the numbers have been great. The handle's great. Everybody, is excited to have action on something that they're watching, and that's what it's about. It's about fun, engaging, and getting everyone a little invested in what the team is doing on the field.
I'm gonna step out on a limb here, Jay, and say this sports betting thing is going to catch on one day.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, it's already in the numbers, as Jay points out. Here in the state of Mississippi, people are betting big time. And then MGM had some big news on the heels of being the official gaming partner of the NBA, which we discussed about 2 months ago.
Yep.
Now MGM, the official gaming partner of the NHL, and a deal announced with the New York Jets, the official gaming partner of the New York Jets. That's hot off the press this morning.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're trying to stay ahead of the curve and reach out and mend the fences. We've been such adversaries with a lot of these leagues
Really
over the years.
been. Yeah.
And it's better to be working with them than to be battling with them. So I think I applaud our organization for doing that.
It's an exciting time for sure. We're excited to be here at Beau Rivage, and we're excited to talk football, college and pro coming up, featuring LSU and the Saints and much, much more. It's Behind the Book. Jay Rude, Gil Alexander, brought to you by the Play MGM app. Back on Behind the Book, brought to you by the Play MGM app from Beau Rivage in Biloxi, Mississippi. Gil Alexander from VSiN, Jay Rude from MGM. Beautiful property. Gumbo till the day is long.
Yes.
And I will be
Oysters.
partaking. Yes,
All
good
kinds
stuff.
of good food. Yeah, I couldn't live here. I'd be bigger than I already am.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, there is a huge college football game this weekend. Obviously, the entire country focused in on LSU and Alabama at Baton Rouge.
Yes.
LSU, the number
At night.
3 team in the country. First college football rankings came out this week. LSU falls in at number 3. Alabama, no surprise, number 1. You're right, at night, which is an interesting question. Now, everybody in the mainstream media is going to talk about the matchup here. We're just going to talk about the betting aspect. 14.5, Jay. Alabama favored by 14.5 at LSU. The last time LSU was this big of a home dog, wasn't even though. The last time they even came this close to being this big of a home dog, 2001 and 1999 against Steve Spurrier's Florida Gators when they were 14-point dogs. 14
The
and a
same
half.
Steve Spurrier that really didn't care about the line, but somehow covered the line late in every game when he's throwing.
And
I mean, this is the kind of, Bama's got a team that's like Spurrier-ish. They're playing right, till the end.
Man, are they good.
Yeah, they're good because you bring in a brand new quarterback who wants to do his thing in the fourth quarter too. So it's going to be a fun game though.
So let me ask you about this. It's 14.5 for the game. Now, one of the things that I've been talking about on my show at VSiN is the fact that Alabama in the first half is 8-0 against the spread. So, Ken, they're derivative markets. Jay puts out a first half number as well. But oftentimes that difference is not split in the middle. Because Alabama's 8-0, you've adjusted to the point, and that first half line could very well come out at, 10 maybe?
Oh, yeah, 9.5, 10, it could be easily. And it's very rarely you just chop it in half. It's always a little bit weighted, more heavy on the front end because of you're more than likely, if it is a blowout and it's going to cover a big number, your starters are going to play the first half for sure. And if you do let up, it's going to be in the second half. So there's always a little bit of a bias towards a bigger number in the front. But it's going to be a tough game for LSU. But if LSU's defense shows up and they're able to generate a couple of turnovers, I don't see them necessarily winning, but I think that they're going to play a very respectable game. They're obviously going to have a crazy crowd. I think our own Matt Brown is going to be in attendance, and it's going to be an insane environment. But it's going to be good.
LSU alum, yeah, and it's always weighted a little more in favor of the first half, but Alabama, maybe 10 and a half, who knows, with a 14 and a half spread, 14 and a half point full game spread. The other question would be, all right, we're here in Mississippi. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of money in on this game, more so than anywhere else in the country, one would imagine. And so the big question, as always, will the line be shaded here in a way that we won't see in other jurisdictions?
I don't think so. I think this game is so forefront everywhere that this game is going to be, strong action all over the place. We probably won't be messing around with, trying to, maybe stay light here. I think you're actually going to see this number run a little bit here. Will Hall, the manager here, we were discussing before, he says, now that we're at 14.5, makes a lot of sense that it could run up, relatively quickly if there's a lot of strong support for Alabama, in the next few days leading up to this.
So get even higher first.
Could get even higher first.
Wow. Yeah, Alabama not too far away, as we mentioned earlier as well. From a football standpoint, LSU 60th in S&P Plus. That's Bill Connolly's advanced stat rating system, 60th on offense. And then Devin White, their standout linebacker, leading tackler. He is gone for the first half of this game, suspended because of a targeting call against Mississippi State. So there's definitely knocks on LSU. The real question is, and I hope you put up a prop for something like this. Prop suggestion, Jay.
Yes. You always talk me into those.
Will Tua Tagovailoa even play in the fourth quarter? Hasn't thrown a pass in the fourth quarter this year. He's minus 500 to win the Heisman.
I mean, I'm hoping he does, because that means it's a good close game.
Right. How it goes down on Saturday night from LSU. Tigers 14.5 point home dogs against Bama, right here on Behind the Book from Beau Rivage, brought to you by the Play MGM app. Back at the Sportsbook and Bar here at Beau Rivage in Biloxi, Mississippi. Gil Alexander from the Vegas Stats and Information Network. And of course, Jay Rude, the star of the show, who carries me each and every week, Vice President, Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International, lording over so many properties, including right here at Beau Rivage in Mississippi. How does it feel to be drunk with power?
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's good to walk around and see that I'm bringing joy and happiness to a lot of people that want to bet sports across this great land.
It is a wonderful thing, and there is great NFL action this weekend. So many games, and we're going to get to some other good ones. But let's start with the morning game. At one time, I think for a large period of time, recent years, the best rivalry in all the NFL. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North battle. These lines always fall on 3, don't they, for the home team? And no difference here with the Ravens favored by 3.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, death, taxes, and this game being a home team of 3 is the point spread. They're really tough, defensive games for the most part. 47 seems high when you just look at this historically.
47.5 really does.
That's pretty much what the league average is right now. I mean, it's somewhere in that neighborhood.
And what it used to be, 42-ish?
42-ish, and now it's up to 47, 48 right now. I don't know, after the last weekend it may higher or lower, but that's generally what the totals are coming in at. So this is right in line on the totals, but really good matchup. I mean, traditionally this has been one of the bigger games that we booked every week, and especially when it falls on a Sunday or Monday. You get really great action to the kind of standalone game. And this is going to be, I think we're not going to see as much because the Ravens are so unpredictable, and the public has had a hard time handicapping them, and the bookmakers have had a hard time, trying to figure them out as well. They're one of the teams where it seems like when the public is zigging, the Ravens are zagging, and they don't get to the cashier window. And I think that's going to be the case here. Is they're going to back Pittsburgh coming off a bye, and the Ravens are going to be who we're going to be cheering for. And hopefully they have a little bit better performance than they did against Carolina.
Ravens are difficult for everybody, not just public bettors, but even more serious bettors as well. Tough to gauge what kind of Ravens team is going to show up on a week-to-week basis. Do you get that Joe Flacco face 3 minutes into the game where you're like, oh no, this guy showed up this weekend? And it should be mentioned, still no sign of Le'Veon Bell for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's playing his hand out. Might not come back for another couple more weeks, and then we'll see how Pittsburgh treats that.
Yeah, Connor's making them forget about him, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, what he is now is a big trading tool for Pittsburgh, because he may not even be welcomed back with open arms at this point if they continue to go with the rook.
Go with the Rook, James Conner. Baltimore, 3-point favorites, total 47.5, which, as Jay points out, with the rules all favoring the offense these days, is kind of where totals are on average these days anyway. Sunday afternoon, Ravens by 3. It's Behind the Book from Beau Rivage right here in Biloxi. Brought to you by the Play MGM app. Back on Behind the Book at the Sports Book and Bar here at Beau Rivage in Biloxi. Gil Alexander, Jay Rude. How about some NHL 101 betting kind of talk on the heels of the historical agreement? MGM, the official gaming partner of the NHL. So there's the money line, Jay. Folks can bet on the favorite or the dog to win a hockey game, but then there's also something called the puck line. What's that?
Puck line is what most people are used to betting in other sports, and that's a handicap. So what that does is if you can in hockey, it's normally you're betting the money line, which is just to win the game. Mm-hmm. And that handicap on that is there's a minus. So if there's a minus $2 favorite, but you think that favorite is going to win by a lot of goals, 2 or more, then you would lay a goal and a half on the puck line. And now you're probably going to get even money on that particular bet.
Costs you less to do that.
Costs you less up front to win the same amount. So, but you're giving up something. Whereas on the front you're giving up
by 2.
You're putting up more money to win less, but they just got to win. This you're putting up less money to win the same unit, like $100, but you're handicapping the team. They got to win by 2. So, that's the traditional way most people bet is on regular sport, like football. Minus, and then you lay 110 to win 100. As soon as you put a money line in there, it sort of makes
people lose their minds.
They go sideways a little bit there.
Yeah. Puck line also, of course, applies to the dog as well. That would be plus 1.5 goals. Even if you lose by 1, you would win your wager in that case. So there's money lines, there's puck lines, there's totals, usually 5.5 in a hockey game, and the futures market, the NHL futures market, more robust than that of the NBA because more teams have a shot at winning it. So you see more action.
Yeah, I mean, goalies dictate a lot. So get hot late, and you got a good value.
They do indeed. NHL Betting 101, that's fun too. It's Behind the Book here from Beau Rivage in Biloxi, brought to you by the Play MGM app. Back at the Sports Book and Bar here at Beau Rivage, Jay, in lovely Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yep.
And quite a sports book it is, and we are joined by the manager here at the Sports Book and Bar. It's our friend Will Hall. Hello, Will.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you guys again.
Big weekend ahead of you. You think you're going to be ready to go?
Absolutely, but they've been talking about it since August 1st.
Yep.
This LSU, Alabama, they're our number 1 and 2 supported teams, followed by the Saints in a close third.
Yeah, and you got the Rams coming to town, with the Saints. So it's a lot of sports stuff going on in the region for this week.
That is an interesting point, though, that you point out. So you opened here August 1st, and we're here at the end of October. So you've been operating for 3 months, but you always had this LSU-Alabama game circled because you knew this was going to be your biggest event.
Yeah, absolutely, and we even in-house we've been preparing for it and anticipating the crowd because even without sports betting, they say last year this place was wild.
How often are you two in communication? Is there some, like again, this weekend might be the first time this happens, I don't know, where you get so much action? As you point out, these are even bigger than the Saints here at Beau Rivage. Mm-hmm. Could there be some action that in some way would cause you to pick up the phone and say, Jay, you won't believe what's happening here?
Well, the way I look at it, though, it's 1 versus 3. That's going to be action wherever you're
no matter what.
Alaska, Saskatchewan, or Biloxi. So I don't really see any difference in that. But absolutely, from an interest point of view, though, wow, it will be wild. Yes.
We're wall-to-wall humanity in here, pretty much?
Oh, my gosh, it will be crazy.
That's huge, of course, on Saturday. And then Sunday, the New Orleans Saints, who Will just ranked as the 3rd most popular team here on the Gulf Coast, they're hosting the LA Rams. The Saints are favored by 1.5 points over the undefeated LA Rams. The total here, 60.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
60 points. I have called this the NFC Championship game for several weeks now, and I defy the Vikings or the Eagles or anybody else to prove me wrong. This seems like an NFC Championship preview. Whether it's in New Orleans or LA remains to be seen, but this will go a long way toward determining that. One would think the 8-0 Rams, the 6-1 Saints. That will be your biggest handle, you think, this weekend here?
Oh, absolutely, and I couldn't agree with you more. It is a preview of the NFC Championship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they kind of stand alone at this point. I love the Saints' little revenge message to the Miracle in Minneapolis payback.
Sure was.
This game,
And they didn't even fire. I mean, they weren't firing on all cylinders, and they still managed to take care of business.
Right.
I mean, that's what good teams do. Just like the Patriots last week. Very methodical in what they did. They took the 9 points early. They just kept grinding it out before Of course, they had a cover late at the end, but I think that's kind of what the Saints just sort of they've had a couple of hiccups, but they've been able to overcome it. So
good. And Drew Brees only needed to throw for 120 yards in that game against the Vikings. And I'm fascinated, and I know, forgive me that I keep coming back to this, but I'm fascinated now with legalization in different jurisdictions, and specifically here on the Gulf Coast. NFL MVP, Will, everybody throwing around Patrick Mahomes and Todd Gurley as the two top candidates for that, and justifiably so. But Drew Brees, now in his latter years of his career, he's getting up there in age, hasn't missed a beat. Are you seeing some sentiment and some support here for Brees?
Oh, yeah, it looks like his family's here every weekend with the jerseys and whatnot.
Right.
It's just amazing.
Right.
So,
I can't believe he's never won MVP.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Right. Yeah. And whenever they put the camera behind Drew Brees, and you realize a guy who's 6 feet tall at most, the fact that he can complete any pass, let alone...
Yeah, because you got the guys in front of him are gigantic.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And here's
Great
a great tie-in. If Nick Saban gets Drew Brees at Miami, he might never be in Alabama.
Right. That's true.
So
The non-move that changed football. If Nick Saban got Drew Brees in Miami instead of Dante Culpepper, how it could have changed everybody's lives.
I've got a great saying: if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But can't live in the past.
Jay Rude, Vice President, Race Sports, MGM Resorts International. Will, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
absolutely love having you guys here. Real blessing.
We'll come back. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
Will Hall, the manager here at the Beau Rivage Sportsbook and Bar here in Biloxi. All brought to you by the Play MGM app. It's the Sports Book and Bar here at Beau Rivage in Biloxi, Mississippi. Beautiful property. And I don't want to just throw out the word beautiful, because it is really, really, truly, sincerely a beautiful place. I would hang out at this sports book with its plush couches all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Totally would.
You pick this up and put it in Vegas, and it competes with any casino in Vegas by
Vegas
far.
ready.
Vegas. This is by far the best property in the Gulf area for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's got a pretty good book too.
And it's got a pretty good book, that's for sure. Your biggest decision, usually on every NFL weekend, maybe not always, but typically, is the Sunday night game.
Sunday night game.
The old
and why
chase,
is that?
The chase game, the get-out game.
Yeah, and all the parlay action rolls up into that, which makes it a little bit difficult to manage because you can't really offset liability that you're going to pay 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 40 to 1 on with even money. I mean, the math doesn't work. So
parlay action and teaser action,
and
right?
teaser action, yeah. Absolutely.
Notice how you never mentioned teasers, Jay.
Yeah, you mention it a lot. You mention it more. You mention enough for both of us, actually.
Subliminally messaging you.
Yes.
There's a reason why Jay doesn't mention
this is
teasers.
a teaser game. This will be an ideal teaser game.
It's a big teaser game. Green Bay Packers, New England Patriots, Sunday night. What a great game. New England favored by 6. The total, a whopping 57. Green Bay coming off a heartbreaking loss to the LA Rams last week, which had all kinds of betting implications at the end. Ty Montgomery deciding to take the ball out of the end zone down 2, subsequently fumbling. Ty Montgomery no longer a member of the Green Bay Packers because of this.
Won't be participating.
No, he will not be participating. And Todd Gurley of the Rams with a chance to take it to the house, which would have had huge betting implications on the spread, on the total. He correctly, football play, lays down at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, that was by far the biggest uproar in the book for the entire weekend, probably, was when it looked like, they got excited, and then he went down to a knee, and I mean, everyone pounding the tables and
gambling is fun.
Moaning and groaning.
Yeah.
But there was the other side of it. People that had the Packers, and rightfully so. I mean, that was the right side for that game. I mean, the Packers really deserved to cover that game. I mean, and they could have won. Who knows? You put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands. I mean,
anything is possible.
Yeah, under 2 minutes, what he's proven already that he can do, that's a dangerous combination. And this game, I'm going to need Aaron Rodgers, I think, for sure. Like you said, people are going to tease this Patriots down to a pick, basically, or a half, and I'm hoping Aaron's got the ball with 2 minutes to go, and we've got a shot to bust up the teasers with an outright win.
You've been in worse positions before than needing someone like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, a lot worse positions. You just name a Browns quarterback, I've had to root for them, or anyone like that. Bortles is killing us this year right now.
Tim Couch, for instance.
Yeah, boom. Kentucky.
Green Bay coming off the loss to the Rams. The Patriots, short week here, they rolled the Buffalo Bills. I shouldn't say they rolled them. They almost didn't cover that game. They needed a pick six to cover it, but they did dispatch the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. So a bit of a short week here. But Patriots, Packers, if this was just a game in the afternoon, you'd get a lot of action.
Yeah.
This is going to get, I think the industry term is stupid action on Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the biggest games probably that for the year of the handle that we booked, because it's
regular season.
Yeah, regular season up to this point. Just because it's two, you don't get these two great quarterbacks together. This is like Kershaw and Schilling. I don't know, two great pitchers, going at each other.
Came up with Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
But you'd be able to go watch two great quarterbacks. Basically, trying to tear apart the other team.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game to be watching, and hopefully we fall on the right side.
Rodgers versus Brady. We'll see if the Patriots have Sony Michel back for this game on Sunday night. The Packers will be without Clinton Dix, their standout safety, because they traded him at the trade deadline to the Washington Redskins. So the Packers, no Clinton Dix, no Ty Montgomery. You can't really tell me they're a better football team, at least without Clinton Dix, than they were the day before. Very interesting how with the trade deadline now meaning something in the NFL, what does this mean? Are the Packers punting on the season? Do they think that Aaron Rodgers is good enough to overcome everything? Packers and Patriots 6-point favorites Sunday night. For Jay Root, Vice President, Race and Sports, MGM Resorts International, Gil Alexander from the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Good luck with all your bets this weekend. Thanks for watching another edition of Behind the Book from Beau Rivage in Biloxi, brought to you by the Play MGM app.